How to Pray the Rosary Well. The story of the three sisters. Hello, my name is Antonio, and welcome to the America Needs Fatima YouTube channel. In our last episode, we explained to you how to say the Rosary. Today we're going to talk about the importance of saying the Rosary well. And I want to begin telling you a story. This is a story that almost sounds like a fairy tale if it were not told to us by three different saints that I know of. Saint Louis de Montfort tells this story, Saint Robert Bellarmine, and also Blessed Alan de la Roche. So, the story is of a certain priest, a confessor, who used to hear the confession of three different girls who happened to be sisters. So these three girls were sisters. So one day, the confessor, the priest, suggested to the girls that they gave them kind of a challenge for them to begin saying the Rosary and to say the Rosary for a full year. Being girls, in order to motivate them, he told them, with your rosaries, you will be making a beautiful dress for the Blessed Mother. So the girls accepted the challenge and they began saying their rosary. 1 year later, during the feast of the Purification, that's the feast of when we say in the fourth joyful mystery, the presentation of the child Jesus in the temple, that's also the feast of the Purification of Our Lady. It's usually celebrated on February 2nd. So on that feast day, Our Lady appeared to the three girls, the three sisters, accompanied by Saint Catherine and Saint Agnes. Our Lady was dressed in the most beautiful of dresses, a dress like those girls had never seen before. And embroidered on her dress were, in gold, were the letters, Hail Mary, full of grace. Our Lady addressed herself to the oldest sister, and she said, My daughter, I want to thank you for this beautiful robe that you have made me with your rosaries. And with that, Our Lady and the other two saints disappeared. One hour later, Our Lady appeared again to the three sisters, but this time she was dressed with a plain green dress. This time she addressed herself to the second sister, and she said, My daughter, I want to thank you for the dress you have made me with your rosaries. The girl was shocked, and noticing the difference between the first dress and the second dress, she said to Our Lady, my lady, how could I have made you such a plain dress? What happened? And Our Lady explained. She said, Your sister made me a much better dress because she said her rosaries much better than you. And with that, Our Lady disappeared. Well, an hour later, Our Lady and the two saints again appeared to the third sister, but this time Our Lady was literally dressed in rags. She looked like a tramp with, dirty clothes, and her dress was horrible. And this time the poor girl knew what was coming, and Our Lady spoke with her and said, My daughter, I want to thank you for the dress you have made me. By this time, the girl was already crying, she was covered in shame, and she pleaded with Our Lady. She's saying, My lady, how could I have made you such an ugly dress? Please give me the chance, to redeem myself. Let me say, more rosaries. But Our Lady didn't say anything, and she just disappeared and vanished, leaving the poor girl totally heartbroken. Well, um, the next day, the girls went and they told the story to their confessor, and of course, especially the third sister, were crying and super broken hearted and pleading with the confessor for a way out. The confessor, knowing Our Lady well, the Mother of Mercy, he told the girls, look, let's do this again. I invite you, the three of you, to take up a second year of rosaries and say your rosaries, but this time, learn your lessons and say the rosary well. The girls, of course, accepted to do this, and um, and this time, of course, they said the rosaries much better said. At the end of the second year, and again on the same feast of the purification, Our Lady again appeared to the three of them. And this time she was dressed with a beautiful dress, as beautiful as she had appeared the previous year to the first sister. But this time she addressed all of them and she said, my daughters, I want to thank you all for the beautiful robes that you have made me with your rosaries. And today I tell you that finally you have earned heaven. And tomorrow I will come to take you there. Well, Our Lady disappeared, and that same night the three girls, they fell ill. They sent for their confessor, told him, of course, the full story, and the confessor administered to them, the last rites, the last sacraments. And the next day, Our Lady appeared again with Saint Catherine, Saint Agnes, but this time she was also accompanied by a multitude of virgins and angels. And the angels, singing praises to the Blessed Mother, to Jesus and Mary, they took them, the three girls, to heaven. Well, this is, again, a story it's a beautiful story told to us by the saints, but it's a story that's made to help us understand the need to say, not only to say the rosary, but to say the rosary well. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, the rosary has two parts. Has a vocal part, okay, and has a mental part, okay, which is the part where we meditate on the mysteries of the rosary. So the tendency is to, for those of us who say the rosary, is to say the rosary mechanically while, thinking about anything but the mysteries of the rosary. The rosary, and it's something I want to talk to you about in a later episode, it's really like a love affair, okay? Now, if that surprises you, what I mean here is the following. Imagine you take a friend to dinner, okay, or you have someone who you consider a friend, but then you begin noticing that when you are talking to this friend, that this friend doesn't really pay attention to what you are saying, that the friend doesn't really care about what you care about, doesn't care about what's happening to you. So this is a little bit what we would do with Our Lady if we say our rosaries just mechanically, okay? We don't really love Our Lady and our Lord if we say our rosaries just vocally without thinking about the mysteries. So in our next episode, I want to give you some tips, some helps. I want to tell you a little bit of my own personal struggles in saying the rosary well. I have said, by the grace of Our Lady, the rosary throughout my entire adult life. But getting to the point of saying the rosary well, it was a struggle, and it took me, a long time. But today, I say the rosaries a lot better than I used to. And I want to help you by giving you some tips, some ideas, suggestions, and how to do this. But the first thing that I thought it was important was to give you the motivation. Because remember, the rosary is so important. It's important to our salvation. I will guarantee you, and again, in the future, I am going to explain to you how the rosary can really get you to heaven. If you say the rosary throughout your life and you say it well, I will guarantee what Our Lady has promised, that she will make sure that she will, to take us to heaven. We will not lose our souls. We will not go to hell if we are saying our rosaries daily. So I hope you receive some incentive here to say that your rosary well. And come back, because next episode we are going to discuss different tips, suggestions on how to say the rosary well. Thank you and God bless.